think for a good like 8 years, my whole identity and consequently my self-worth was kind of wrapped up in Jon the musician, you know. And while we had some success, we had that single on 250 stations, we played with a bunch of big names, toured a bunch, blah blah blah, but like never achieved the success that we were looking for. And along the way though, like my concept of what success really is definitely got redefined. And I think that along the way also who I am as an individual got redefined, and I'm still learning that. I'm still learning a lot, but I know that who I am and who everyone is not defined by what we do or the accomplishments that we achieve. We're defined by some very simple things like, do we love people? Do we make people happy? Do we give? And if you're doing those things, like, you've succeeded in my opinion.
People are fascinating, especially up close. More especially when you get them talking about the things that they love. This is From the Hip, conversations in the service of passion, purpose, and play. I'm Adrianne Gunn. You ready to play? Today on From the Hip, I'm sitting with my friend, award-winning mixologist, musician, author, and world traveler, adventurer, entrepreneur, and exuder of awesomeness, Jon Davidson. What is today? It's a Thursday, right?
Thursday. This is the first day of winter, right?
I know, it's solstice.
It is.
That's a solstice sweater, obviously.
Totes. I was trying to turn this off. Like, do I just wait for the batteries to die? Or...
I don't know. If you, like, festive light up, it's an LED sweater. LEDs theoretically just go on forever? What is it powered by? Is there a battery somewhere?
I guess. I don't know.
Like, did you dress yourself? Like,
I did.
You turned it on, yeah?
No, literally I bought it and it was on, and that's like...
Seriously?
Yeah, I bought it yesterday for my TV thing, and yeah.
It's just been...
Yeah, it's just been flashing ever since.
That's awesome. Huh, wait. I think it just stopped. Nope. There it goes again.
Did it pause?
Must have. Maybe it heard us talking about it.
Shh. Hey.
All right, so, Jon.
Yes.
I'm really excited because you're busy as shit right now.
That is, yeah, I am, but...
And I got to catch you before you flew away. I don't really quite know what you're doing. You put a Facebook post up and saying, here's where I'm going.
So I have like the next 3 months of my life planned out, and then after that I'm going to kind of play it by ear and take what life gives me, I guess. Yeah.
Nice.
So initially I'm kicking everything off with 6 days in Dubai, which is not for any altruistic or humanitarian purpose. It's for vacation.
6 Days in Dubai is the name of a movie.
Is it?
It is now.
It is now.
In my head, it's a good title.
It is now. I'm actually having a film crew follow me around. It's gonna be wild. And then flying to Uganda on New Year's Eve, where I will be working with. Well, I'll be getting essentially trained in the span of a day and working with a clean water solutions implementation team. I don't know if I'll be digging wells or just implementing like new filtration technologies or whatever, and also be doing some outpatient surgeries. Just figure I can figure it out. YouTube some stuff. And...
Right. Well, if they have they have need there.
Right.
Somebody's just bleeding on the side of the road.
Right.
It makes sense that you would.
As long as I can YouTube it. Like I don't even know what organ this is, but we're just gonna put it back in and
stitch together.
Hope for the best.
Are you gonna take a staple gun? You can't. Can you take an empty staple gun on the plane?
I feel like you should be able to because it's not a weapon, right? I mean, you can't. As long as you don't have staples.
I mean, it hurts a lot, but I haven't heard of anybody dying.
From staples or from the gun itself?
Staples.
Okay.
Like,
can you actually can you shoot them? Like, what happens if you just like fire a staple gun? Is that a thing?
You would need the like air compressor version,
okay,
nail gun, staple gun for it to like.
Okay.
But like the regular
staple guns, they just kind of. I mean, you could probably shoot like a foot or two, right? It wouldn't be.
Certainly there are kids that are just doing that now with their siblings. They're just shooting each other with stick guns, and they're mostly surviving.
Taking a break from huffing glue or whatever the kids are doing these days to shoot their siblings with staples.
You know, when they invent the apps with that smell, they will probably have a glue setting.
And you have to be like 18 or older to like get it.
Children in the future,
kids will,
when they have smell-o-vision in their phones,
that's gonna
or
be
attached
weird.
to their arms, wherever they put the next portable device.
I kind of feel like that's an area of technology that we should just leave alone. Like, I don't want to smell. Like, what happens if like you stumble across? I mean, I would of course never willingly seek it out, but you stumble across some porn and it's like of the smell variety. Like, that's just weird.
I have memories like that. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, so I mean, like, it's gonna go that direction because porn. Most technologies get better
Fueled
because
by porn. Yeah.
generally porn. It's more where the money is, but like the VR, the virtual reality stuff, is definitely going to include smells. And if you think in classic therapeutic versions, say someone's craving cake, but probably doesn't actually want to eat it, you'd want to be smelling.
True.
The cake in virtual reality.
That would definitely take like advertising on a serious note to like a whole nother level. Like McDonald's commercials. Like, I don't go to McDonald's, but I'm like smelling this deliciousness coming out. Well, deliciousness.
The fries
let's be honest.
smell.
But yeah, the fries do smell good.
They do.
And even though, I mean, I don't know if they're potatoes, I really don't know what's in them, but I know that they smell good. And that would be so much more powerful of a marketing tool. Like,
Yeah. I just smell McDonald's fries everywhere and they need to go. So, so this surgery on the side of the road in Uganda, you have to have service, like cell service. Are you going to be away from technology, or are you going to be in and out?
I think that where we're staying with a family, and I believe that I did read that they have Wi-Fi. So
Sweet.
I know I will be sporadically able to communicate with the outside world.
Yeah.
But I'll be spending like 14-hour days in the field, I think, something like that.
Oh yeah, nice.
Working on my 10 or something.
Returning to your roots.
Yeah.
Everyone's roots.
I am of African origin originally.
Yeah. So I remember, did we sit, it was like, we sat for tea. I know I've seen you since then, because we went on a trip with a bunch of other people. Last time we were like hanging out alone together, we had coffee or tea.
It was tea.
Tea. And
Kombucha, actually.
oh, you had kombucha? I think I had a chai.
Yeah.
I
Sounds
don't know
about
which
right.
one. I think I may have had a chai and a cup that was, like, I bought their thermos and then I couldn't actually drink it because it was too freaking hot. And burned my
Sometimes
tongue.
you like, those things are so good at what they do and you just don't want them to be quite as good at what they do. Like,
Wait. Variable level mugs.
right.
That's next.
Cash cow.
I did not
Patent.
invent it, but I just thought of it just now.
Well,
You like
should we
swipe something
interrupt
on the
this
side.
program to file a patent, or do you think that by you saying that right now, you've already given it?
Well, I've
someone's
trademarked
gonna-
it now. If I come up with a
Okay.
name for it.
That's true. Intellectual property.
Thermostat, like quickly. The thermo. That's not good. It's not good.
You know, you got something there. Let's hone that little idea a little bit more
Yeah.
before we go to market.
Fair, I can do it. Okay, but when we were chatting then, you were super excited to just get the heck out of the country, and it was Ecuador that was on your list at that time. You remember?
Yes, and I'm still going. Essentially, I'll be I'll finish in Uganda, then go to Serbia to work with refugees for a little bit, just like a week or two, and then come home. I'm closing on another house here, so I'm gonna remodel it myself for like a month out in the Dalles, and then go to Ecuador for an indeterminate amount of time once I can get some tenants in my house.
Like
Figure
you
it out.
do.
Yeah.
So like, okay. So this time, what was your go button for like this adventure? I know you travel quite a bit.
So this trip, I don't know, in the wake of the various ailments that I've kind of suffered from the past few years, I have been traveling a lot, as you know. And it finally hit me, I think when I was in Europe this last time, I'm like, for all the travel that I've done, I kind of travel selfishly. And again, there's nothing wrong with vacation, and international travel is amazing, and it's an amazingly eye-opening experience that enables you to learn so much about other cultures and yourself. And But that's all I've been doing was taking vacations. And so I just kind of put out there, I was like, all right, if I am supposed to do something for others, like, I kind of need that to fall in my lap because I don't know where to look. I don't know which organization to work with. I don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And I volunteered a bunch in Portland, but like those organizations are local and they don't, have international outreach programs. So literally the next day after I came to that realization, my friend, I was still in Europe, my friend like Facebook messages me and was like, do you want to go to Uganda to work on bringing clean water to people who don't have it? And that clean water has always been a huge passion of mine because it's the simplest thing that we take for granted here.
Totally.
Like I can turn on a faucet in a seedy Motel 6 and I can drink what comes out of it and be all right. Like, is that something I want to do? Probably not, but I can. And unless you're in Flint, Michigan, of course, but that's a different story. But like clean water, like we spend so much time worrying about what we as Americans think that other countries need. Like, oh, you need education and you need infrastructure, and yes, everyone does need access to those things. But if kids are having to walk like 6 miles a day just to get water, they don't have time for school. They have to pick between school and having clean water that doesn't give them cholera, Mm-hmm. So it's like until those basic needs are met, why are we trying to change the way that they do other things? Like, let's just, rather than force our American imperialistic like democracy and capitalism on these countries, let's help them with their real needs and not try and...
You mean we can't sell them watches?
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. Like,
so
you gotta
clean
know
water
what time,
first, and then they can get the new...
Maybe even the watch first, because they need to know what time they need to get water at.
We get them Wi-Fi so their watches work, and then they can find the water.
They can find the water, yeah, GPS. Okay. So
the water app.
You're right. The water comes third, so...
Okay, fair. No, that's huge.
And so, yeah, like the opportunity just literally fell in my lap, and I'm like, all right, I think this is the answer I'm looking for. And so I went for it. And
my favorite part of that is it's kind of like, in the sense of like manifesting, it's sort of the lazy. I include that sort of stuff too. I'm like, okay, well, I'm asking for stuff, God. Just like, just put it right in front of me. So one, I know that's the thing. Mm-hmm. I want these sorts of things, but surprise me and then just deliver it in a form that I'm like, oh, obviously I have to do it. You're like, it has to fall in my lap, and that's the one. And then it did.
And then it
like
does.
A day
later. So, I mean, not that always happens, but like...
We were specific.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like when you ask for something that's not selfish, maybe it's a lot more likely, your prayer is a lot more likely to be answered, I guess. I don't know.
That makes sense.
It's like, God, give me a, mansion in wherever, Thailand. Like, I've been asking. Hasn't happened. So
it's there for you. It just, you gotta get the flight.
Yeah, and those get pricey. It's just like, this time of year.
I've got these jokes running through my head about like the different things that fall into your lap in Thailand. I don't necessarily.
Yeah, we won't go into what fell into my lap when I was there last year. Who or what?
Right. It's folklore. That doesn't happen.
No, it's such a pure
every 12
puritanical country, really.
So I met you. So you're the Jon Davidson. There might be others, but you're like...
There's a couple more.
There's a couple other Jons.
Hollywood Squares guy, but he has an H in his name. Inefficient. Like 25% more letters to accomplish the same like phonetic purpose.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Efficient. You're the updated version. Yeah.
Jon Davidson 2.0 suckers.
Okay, I remember where we met. So you're a many things. You're a musician, and then other stuff. Depending on what you're in the mood to tell people.
You can tell them.
I think you've written a book.
I have.
Yeah. You're like not just musician, like touring musician. You spent a lot of years touring. We met. Somebody asked me to be a stage manager for this. God, was this like 2007-ish? Maybe 2008.
It was. We're going on a decade.
I know.
It's our 10-year anniversary.
Oh, God. Pleasure. So I was stage managing this Battle of the Bands, and And my gig was to make sure that everybody like quickly got on and off stage. All of the gear, all of the drums mostly were there, and everybody had like 2 seconds to swap out their cymbals and snares, plug in their guitars, dial in their settings, and then just go rock out. And I remember like there's tons of random musician-y types coming in. The Shins were there. I think they played that show. Do you remember that? No, the Slants.
The Slants. Yeah, I was like,
not the Slants were there.
Yes, the Slants were definitely there.
I think you wandered in, and then you and I like were in this fun little bubble for like 5 minutes, cracking like innuendo and not doing the job we were there to do.
Yeah, all the things.
It was awesome. It's one of my treasured memories, and just like I love these like weird pockets in the middle of like a busy work day. It was just like out of time. I don't know. Did you guys win that thing?
I think we did. I want to say that we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ain't first or last, America. I'm Ricky Bobby.
But you've been in like other bands. You've been musicking for a while. What like? Where do we drop into an adventure? Like you're gonna be Jon on an adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a good like 8 years, my whole identity and consequently my self-worth was kind of wrapped up in Jon the musician, you know. And while we had some success, we had that single on 250 stations, we played with a bunch of big names, toured a bunch, blah blah blah, but like never achieved the success that we were looking for. Mm-hmm. And along the way though, like my concept of what success really is definitely got redefined. And I think that along the way also who I am as an individual got redefined, and I'm still learning that. I'm still learning a lot, but I know that who I am and who everyone is not defined by what we do or the accomplishments that we achieve. We're defined by some very simple things like, do we love people? Do we make people happy? Do we give? And if you're doing those things, like, you've succeeded in my opinion, you know? And so I don't know, my heart is a work in progress, but the music chapter is not over, but it's definitely not who I am now, I would say.
Yeah, well, and forgive me, I've always noticed that on one hand, you're like a very charismatic performer and connector. One of the things that was challenging for me when I was being like Adrianne, the musician, I had to learn more about how to connect with people after the show, because there was a way that I jump on stage. When I jump on stage, it's just like what I open up to and access. It's really strange to then just be like your own roadie. Most of the gigs that we get at, you're your own roadie, so you're like, I would literally wear a different shirt for that. I would put on a shirt
That's awesome.
Just to help myself transition. I'd put on a shirt, I'd load my gear, and then I'd jump off stage, and I'd swap my shirt, and then I'd pump myself up, and then I'd climb back on stage, and then I would perform, and then get as big as a performer as I wanted to be, and connect and make the show work. And then at the end of like, you're just like, wow, and you bring it, right? But then you're like, no, I gotta pick up on my gear again.
And go sell my own merch.
Sell my own merch, humbly. Talk to supremely drunk people that you don't know. And I had a challenge with that, because I'm way more shy.
Why didn't you play any Skinner? Don't you know any Skinner, bro? Yeah.
And so there's like I always admired your ability to not just be able to be open and perform on stage, but also like come out and be actually with people and hang out after the shows and really connect. And I think that's a lot of why you were able to like travel so much, is people just felt like they were part of your world.
Yeah.
They were invited in. And
I learned early on that, like, I mean, everyone who's a serious musician is talented, and everyone has something to offer, and everyone like, and so it's like, if you're not creating something so brand new or so incredible, then you have to work hard in other ways, you know? And human, like you said, like, human connection is really all that people want in life, period. And so when you go to a show and And for me, like, it was never, I mean, there were some times that I had to force it because some people annoy me, but like, for the most part, like, it's genuine. Like, I genuinely love meeting people. I love interacting with them. I love connecting with them. And I work really hard at that. Like, would be in the middle of a 10-hour drive on tour, and I'd be texting everybody and Facebooking personal messages to everybody, like, that I'd carefully set up lists for everyone in that city so that I could stay in touch with them. And, you know, and it wasn't just like some blanket invite. I made sure to, like, personally invite at least the core of super fans that we had in each town and make sure that they knew that I really wanted them there. And I think that really made a difference. Like, I know the times when I've opened up for, like, a bigger name, like, and they've been human and hung out with me after the show, it's like made a huge impact on me. Like, I remember I went and saw, wasn't even opening for them, but I saw Switchfoot years ago, and we missed half the show because we had some car troubles, whatever. Finally got there, I was still living in Michigan, and they were playing Indianapolis, so we had to drive like 4 hours. Anyway, missed half the show, show up in the merch line at the end of the show, and John Foreman was there signing autographs, and this is like right when they first like blew up, like, and so it was a huge line. Finally get up there, and I'm like, dude, just want you to know, like, I've been a huge fan of you guys. I'm so bummed that I missed like half your set, but anyway, I'm making the story super long. Long story short, he's like, dude, what songs did you miss? I'm like, well, I missed like Dare You to Move. I missed Beautiful Letdown. He's like, calls some guy over, he's like, grab me a guitar.
Oh shit, no
yeah,
way.
And he literally sits down on the floor and plays his 3 songs, acoustic. And like, as a musician who has toured like for years, like, the last thing you want to do at the end of your set when you've been playing all night for the last 38 nights is play more music.
Yeah.
But he did it, and he offered to do that, and he enjoyed doing it. And like, from that day on, I was a Switchfoot fan for life. Like, because I saw that authenticity and that connection, and I was blown away.
Well, and that tells you how the heck to do music too. That kind of example.
Exactly.
Wow. So then you'd be playing music, and then you would drop these amazingly beautiful, thoughtful, articulate blog posts. I've been poking you, and then you're like, oh my god, all of your blogs, put them together, it's a book. Oh my god. I have other dreams, and like, I can't tell if this adventure you're on, and we're going to talk about some of the challenges in the middle, but I'm like, maybe that's a next book. Maybe that's, okay, can I tell them when I texted you?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, I'm pretty convinced that you should start a church, but not like a church. I think there's a new version of church that's going to exist, that's a different version of connection, and that you could be this traveling guy that does this sort of digital drop-in, helping connect a bunch of people, because it's, I don't know, it's a thing I feel a pulse of. I don't know if you have any interest in it, but I've been poking you and
honestly,
joking
like, the day that you said that, I'm like, because I've always like jokingly said that I should start a cult.
Oh, right.
I think that would be awesome. Just, you know, due to my charisma, I could just milk a bunch of like lonely people for money. But like, I know that's completely opposite of what you actually have in mind.
That sounds a little sad, but people do.
I'm clearly joking about
if
that.
If you know how to start a cult, you could start pretty much anything.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
But I will refrain from my cult dreams, but I think that your idea is a great one. I think that the way that, because again, like, when people go to church, they want what? Connection. Like, you don't have to go to church to have faith in God or in any belief system. You don't have to. You don't have to go to a mosque if you're a Muslim. You don't have to go to a synagogue if you're a Jew. But people go because they want the human element, you know? And I've always thought that, like, it's a shame that churches don't emphasize that more, you know? And a lot do. But, like, yeah. So I think that if there's a way to modernize that and mobilize that and yet still make it authentic, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a weird, we'll see. You can do whatever the heck you want with yourself.
No, I like
just
it.
Like, man, I just had the sense of like traveling. Well, I mean, essentially Jesus like traveled, hung out with the people, connected, had real connections, and then told stories that inspired them. That's not much different than what a lot of people are up to these days.
Right.
And we love that stuff.
And the only people that he really judged were those who were in organized religion and who were doing things according to the status quo. You know, like, let's have this traditional service and maintain our grip on power and on money.
Yeah.
And that's what bugs me so much about modern, like a lot of evangelical Christianity, is that it's all about the wrong things. Like, did you actually read anything about what Jesus taught? No? Okay. Just wondering. Just curious.
Yeah. I'm sure they get something out of it.
Are you?
Am I? Well, yeah. There's an interesting. I'm thinking kind of close to home. There are some of my family members that they really do need to have a kind of, I don't know, I think there's a comfort in strict rules that you can follow. Most people, they must be getting, I don't know what it is that they're getting out of it. There are times when I've been very rigid in my belief systems, and I needed it for those times in my life. I needed a focal point to focus on and buy in and follow.
Framework and structure. And I'm not saying that those things are like not beneficial to like your development as a human being or whatever, but it just bugs me that like, I think the thing that makes Jesus so cool is that he doesn't require us to do this big list of things in order to gain his approval, you know? And that's what like sets his message apart from every other one, in my opinion, you know? But yet we, or Christians, try and be like, well, instead of just accepting this awesome gift of grace, I'm going to like do this whole list of things and still try and be a really good person, and maybe then he'll, or other people will think I'm a good Christian, or whatever the case may be. But like, I don't know, I say fuck when I pray. Like, I don't have a problem with that. It's like, if I believe that Jesus can hear my thoughts, he knows that I say fuck a lot in my head. Anyway, so
you're bros, right?
Right, I'm not gonna lie to him and try and clean up my act when I talk to him. So
fair. I always got confused when I was little. I just talked to God, and so then everybody would talk about like religions and all these rules and all these stories, and I'm like, wait, or like all of these, like you have to like all of these pathways that you have to take before you get to talk to God. I was like, that's kind of weird, because
I haven't talked to him for a long time.
Why don't you just talk to God? Because I'm like 5, and everybody's telling all these stories, different like rules and stuff. I'm like, but can't you just? Because like we sing together and we hang out and we just talk.
And that's so beautiful. And that's why Jesus was like, hey, you got to become like a little kid, because kids like cut through all the bullshit, and you saw like the simplicity of reality rather than some charade that we all play. You know?
Yeah. Once people told me that Jesus was this cool person that existed, we would just hang out on the swing set. Like me and Jesus on the swings.
JC. Can you give me a push, bro? Come on.
I don't know. So, okay. I had to drop into this, like, so you were saying that part of your adventure is about some of the challenges you've been through. So I've been like watching your music show up and watching your tours, and there was this harrowing, I think the first, certainly you have a sense of your own challenges, but the first one I saw was the one where you fell off your bike and then had half your face like torn off.
Tongue off.
You bit your tongue off.
Severed my nostril. They did a good job. I mean, I'm right with it.
Yeah. It's not easy for a singer, say, to have part of their face torn off.
Yeah, we had a show that night, obviously, that we had to cancel because I was unconscious in the hospital. We had to cancel the whole tour, and then I had to go to some speech therapy. And then the first show that we played, like a few months later after this whole thing, I started, and we were playing at this winery, like this really high-class show up in like Tri-Cities, Tigueras Winery. Bunch of old rich people out there. Yeah. And in the middle of the show, I just started bleeding down my face, just like I don't know what it was from. Some of my tongue reopened or whatever. And had it been at like the Hawthorne at a rock show, it would have been badass. But the people at Tigueras were kind of like, "Is this Satan?" Like what? And needless to say, we were never invited back.
That's a new technique for wine tasting.
Yeah.
You get like dripping Syrah. Like you spit it out or you bleed it out of the edges.
I like it. See, I need you to like put a positive spin.
Like if I was your manager then, I was like, "Oh, this is the new technique."
He's literally bleeding wine.
So that was rough. Do you want to prove that your tongue still works? Wait.
kind of show.
Singing. Ben, I was trying to figure out how to transition into
And you
segue.
did. And you did.
I'm a professional.
That was awesome.
I'm gonna be checking in, making sure nobody's doing weird things. Okay. Checking in. Color change.
And the sky falls big far away, make it home. And the sky falls big far away, could have known. Yeah, yeah. Better run for cover, run for cover, yeah, 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 yeah. Better run for cover, run for cover, yeah, 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 yeah. You better run. And the sky falls big far away, come to life. And the sky falls big far away, make things right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Better run for cover, run for cover, yeah, 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 yeah. Better run for cover, run for cover, yeah, 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 yeah. You better run. And sky falls big far away, make it home. And sky falls big far away, could have known. I guess we should have known. I guess we should have known.
Awesome. I was just like in the context of just having told the like blood story, the run for cover, and you're like dripping with blood. I don't suppose it was that song.
It would have been way better had it been. I think it was actually like a tender love song that I was singing.
Oh.
Stay.
Yeah, that would.
It was
different perspective on love. Love makes you bleed.
What can I say except that I love you?
I'm gonna pull your
Okay, please do.
Just in case. Whoops. That's gonna sound awesome. Okay. Okay, so that's, just like, you're just a guy in a band and you're touring, you got your face stitched back up, and, the trials of that. What's the next health adventure for you? Because I think there's several many.
There were 3 big ones. So that was number 1. I then got a hangnail, and it was just so bad. It like hurt for weeks. No, I tore my Achilles in 2013. Was on crutches for about 4 months, 4.5 months.
I love this story. So this comes from this is adulting. It's like, I know, let's just hang out and play basketball. Adult moments. I have torn and pulled groin muscles playing like kickball. But I know, just for fun, just to do a kickball tournament.
Next thing you know, you pull the groin.
I think I jammed my thumb around the same time that so I couldn't play guitar because I had a jammed thumb for a while. Was it my right hand? I miscaught a kickball, and then I couldn't play guitar for like 6 months.
See, exercise is bad for you.
Exercise is bad for you.
Kids? Hopefully are there kids watching this?
I don't know. Maybe.
Not after your tongue comment. Their moms were like, turn that off. This is getting bad.
I mean,
Birds and the bees.
I've heard that your tongue works pretty well. So, for singing, but most people, like when they're gonna have a tryout, most people when they tear their Achilles, they tear it by their foot.
Correct.
And that generally people know what to do with that. But at the moment that yours was torn, the story wasn't very good.
So mine tore from the calf. Basically, it's called a musculotendinous tear, which is a fancy way of saying that you can't have surgery, and you are at a much higher risk of re-tearing your Achilles because of that. And so I went to like 3 different orthopedic surgeons. This was in the middle of like the first snowpocalypse, or the second snowpocalypse that I'd seen in Portland.
Yeah.
So we're driving. It took us like 5. My girlfriend at the time. It took us 5 hours to get to the orthopedic surgeon in Beaverton one time.
Right.
Just through this blizzard, and so anyway, long story short, couldn't have surgery. Was on crutches for 4.5, 5 months, and I learned a lot from that though. Like there are simple things like, oh, you want to carry a glass of water to your room? Well, you're not going to do that because your room is up 2 stairs, and so you can't use your knee scooter. You basically you lose the ability to take care of yourself. Although I finally couldn't handle it anymore. I started driving.
Yeah.
It was my right leg, but I would tuck my right leg in the cast behind my other leg, and then I'd drive with my left foot. I had to actually sell my car because it was a stick shift.
Yeah.
Buy an automatic for the first time in my life, which sucked. That was the worst part of the whole thing.
Yes.
I'm now an American.
Super better. I drive automatic.
Oh, that's all right. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, I know. I don't need the ego boost from the stick shift because I have this hair. I
do know or hear that you know how to work a stick.
I do. Well. I have done. I had a truck for a gig in Vegas where I had to learn. There was much freaking out, and then finally I figured it out. It was like a Ford F100 that I got when I was a quality control manager for this TV service, and they're like, here's a truck, here's a laptop. It was a great gig. I was part of a cool team. Everybody teased me because I was like, I don't know. Vegas is challenging driving. Everybody drives really, really 10, 20 over the speed limit, and fortunately there's not a lot of hills there, so that only up exit ramps would I stall out and freak out. It took a week and a half, and then I was good.
You're the stick master.
Yeah, and I had a lot more anxiety then. I was very good at anxiety back then. I was like,
stick with what you're good at.
Right? Yeah. But so when you announced hey, I've got this thing and I don't know if I'll have surgery, it was the same time in my life that I just flown. I think it was literally within a week
of me flying back from Austin and then getting this balance condition that had a name. And when you Google it, it's mal de barquement. And when you Google it, like 90% of the people who get it are women in their like 50s. And it's for 50% of those, it's permanent. It's like, that's the way the rest of your life is. And for 50%, it just goes away, but no one knows why. No one knows how it's caused, and no one knows what gets rid of it. And so I fly to Austin, I fly back, and there's like, what I experienced is that there were like 4 of me on the inside, all like moving in constant motion in different paths. So all of the time.
Kind of awesome, actually.
Well, it's fun if they made Mal de Barquement the ride.
The ride.
And you were only on it for like 2 minutes.
It'd be sweet.
Interesting.
But then after like months, I would imagine it becomes kind of tedious. Like even roller coasters, like they're awesome, but if you had to live your life on one, kind of not awesome.
No, and I had no idea how excruciating, like being like I was off balance constantly. So if I was sitting down, if I was trying to go to sleep, if I was like trying to walk across the room, you're talking about like go get a glass of water. I'm just like, walk to the kitchen. It was just crazy. Or grocery stores were the worst.
And you didn't even drink, right? So
no,
like,
not at that point. No.
That's yeah. Did you ever get pulled over and like?
Well, in the car was the only place that my life was still.
But like, if you had to like walk a line as sobriety test or something, like.
I think I could walk a straight line, but I didn't feel like I was walking a straight line. I could tell that the couch in the room weren't moving. And like there's vertigo. Vertigo is like people turn their head and then things spin. But things were always in motion inside me, is what it felt like.
What about hopscotch?
I should have tried that. I did not. I think I would like try to like lift a speaker and carry it across the room after 3 or 4 steps. That like the combination of exertion and
you're like,
yeah. So you were like hopping around on a scooter, and I was just like, oh my god, I have to go get my mail. And it was similar timing, and you're like, I could be on a knee-scooter for life. And I'm like, I could be dizzy for the rest of my life. I had no idea. I think about a month in, maybe it was even just 3 weeks, but like a month in, I'm like, I had the sense of like, I don't know if I can if this is my forever, I don't know if I can do it.
Did it start just overnight, or did it gradually kind of like build up?
It's hard. Like it's harder to say because I remember the flight. I flew to Phoenix and then we transferred to Austin, and I remember like a turbulence event that happened on the way to Phoenix because the heat does weird things prior to landing. Mm-hmm. So I remembered something weird, and that's probably where it happened, like the motion event that kicked it off. And I was like in the hotel, and I would be standing next to somebody at this seminar. I was doing a seminar, and I'd stand next to them, and I was like, is the building moving? Do you feel the floor moving? But they did. They felt the floor moving. I wasn't alone. Like something about that hotel was moving, and underneath me that we like, maybe there's washing machines under here. We didn't know, but the person standing next to me also felt weird motion. And then when I got home, I got home so late, like 11 or something, and I crashed to bed, woke up in the morning, and I'm standing in my kitchen, and I'm like, wait a minute. I know that my house isn't moving, but I am. And I went straight to, I have a chiropractor that's neurological trained, and so she knew what it was immediately, and I had no idea whether it was going to go away. It was like 3 months solid, and then it started to dissipate. But like it was an interesting connection because I was like, oh, I don't know. She was like, I don't know. It could be the rest of my life. I can't walk. I don't know if I'll walk again.
And there's no treatment for it, obviously. Right? It's just
Well, yeah. They did many things. Like there were some eye exercises that I ended up doing. Like if anybody has balance conditions, you should reach out to me, and I'll send you the direction of the kinds of people that can help you unwind whatever that is. They don't quite know what causes it. They don't quite know what gets rid of it. But for me, I've only had 1 recurrence, and it was really mild. Like that 3 months was like a 9 or 10 level of dizziness and internal motion, and the next time it came back like 2-3 years later, I think I was like at level 2 or 3 for 6 weeks, and then it was gone. Wow. Nuts. Like, and
it's gone.
Yeah. But what I remember, any of the health things I've ever had me more connected to people around me. I would almost always bump into somebody else at that point who had a balanced condition or that sort of thing. Just people who were challenged in some way. But like, I think you were like, yeah, I'm feeling connected with people, and then I think there was more you needed to learn, evidently.
Apparently, well, before I even finished recovering from the Achilles, so I was writing about craft beer at the time for my own blog and a couple different magazines, and so I had been hired to run Bridge to Brews, which is a 10K with a beer fest at the end that goes over all the interstate bridges in Portland. They block them off, and so it's pretty cool. And this was before I tore my Achilles, but I was basically like, well, I'm not going to let this stop me. I'm going to do a 10K on my knee scooter, which at the time seemed pretty courageous and awesome and inspirational, until I literally herniated a disc in my back from doing that. And as a result, my like lumbar and my thoracic have been messed up ever since. It's gotten better, but for a month I could not sleep because I couldn't lay on my back because of my Achilles. I couldn't lay on my side because of my back, and I got like maybe an hour of sleep a night. And I'm talking like I tried drinking myself to sleep. I tried all the Ambien, all the prescription drugs. I tried all the naturopathic remedies, nothing. And literally got to the point after a month of no sleep that I was like, I can't live like this. Like I've never even contemplated suicide, but that was the one point in my life where I'm like, this can't continue. I'm not alive right now.
Yeah.
And so thank God that eventually like the back started subsiding, the Achilles started healing, and I got like my first night of like 4 hours of sleep, and I felt like a new man. I was like, it's amazing. Conquer the world on my scooter. But yeah, back to your original point. The day, so I finally healed and climbed my first mountain post Achilles tear. And on that day, I contracted Lyme disease and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. And
two diseases in one.
Buy one, get one free. It was amazing. Recommend it. It took doctors 6 months to diagnose what was going on.
Yeah.
Because I had stayed at like a seedy motel the night before I climbed in Eugene, Oregon, or Oak Ridge, Oregon, actually. Climbed Mount Yorin, this like little known volcano that you basically have to scramble through all this undergrowth and blah, blah, blah. And a day later, I got these 198 what looked like bed bug bites all over my body. And so I called the health department. I'm like, you need to shut this hotel down, thinking I got bed bugs at this crappy like Oak Ridge motel or whatever it was called. So they go and they inspect the place, no sign of bed bugs anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, what was it? I don't know. They itched like crazy. Finally, like 3 weeks later, they went away. And then I think it was shortly after that you actually came over to my house, and I just started getting this incredible like neck pain, dizziness, like just brain fog. Like I couldn't even like.
Yeah.
I was like seeing double, blurred vision, like, and then like I think you came over and you were trying to get me to do some motivational speaking for an event you were working with.
Yeah.
And I was just like, honestly, I thought about it and I couldn't even like, it was so hard for me to even form words. Like my brain was just that like decimated or whatever. I don't even know how to describe what that month was like. And then it like morphed into like muscle twitching all over my body and extreme like fatigue, and like I couldn't even like pick things up, couldn't play guitar, couldn't even text. My hands were so weak, and like I'm like, I'm dying. Like I don't know what is happening to me. Went and like got tested for Lyme because I had a feeling that might have something to do with it. And I guess in Oregon they only test you for one protein band, the most common one that your body produces in response to Lyme, instead of all 20.
Oh God.
And so that one came back negative, and they're like, oh, you don't have Lyme. So I finally had to like, after I got tested for everything else under the sun, MS, lupus, all sorts of, HIV, whatever, like they tested me for everything, like vitamin deficiencies, everything came back negative. And I'm like, it has to be Lyme. So I paid $1,000 out of pocket, went to this lab in California, got tested for the comprehensive panel. And sure enough, they're like, you have Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. Congrats.
Damn.
So.
And well, it's not as if you're just like, oh, everything hurts, I'm going to stop doing stuff. Because essentially you were still, weren't you still traveling and climbing mountains and hiking a little? Or did you slow that down?
I slowed that down for sure.
Yeah.
Once I found out what it was, and once I started like treatment, then I think I went to Greece and Turkey, and I was still feeling pretty crappy, but at least I like, just having answers is like so important.
Heck yeah.
When you just are dying of this mystery illness that you don't know how to treat or even what it is, it's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
But once you have a plan of attack, then you can put up with not feeling the best.
I have a question to ask you, but I'm going to do a check for your time because I want to, like, you have 8 things that you have to be up to all at once, and I've got this, like, this moment with you. So earlier you were talking about how your identity was wrapped around, like, being a musician and being able to play music, and here you are, you can't hold your guitar, you have this neck pain. Wasn't it also that, like, was your throat closing up? What was happening?
I was choking, like I couldn't breathe, and I would just like spontaneously like gag and weird things.
So in addition to like not being able to like, quite play or sing, you weren't really all that able to be Jon much.
It was the darkest point of my life, I would say. Like, yeah, I felt like a zombie. I felt like I was just in constant pain, constant like fatigue. It was like, once the brain fog cleared, at least I could like think all right, but I just felt like I was just like drugged up on narcotics 24/7, in addition to all the pain and everything else. But yeah, it was rough. I would cry like every single day. But I mean, once I got answers, like I determined that I was gonna fight it as hard as I could, and that at that point I realized that, like, I don't know, it's easy to feel sorry for yourself in those moments, and it's easy to be like, I'm gonna wait until I feel better or wait until this situation clears up for me to actually make a positive contribution to other people's lives and help people. And so I kind of got like wrapped up in self-pity for a while, for sure. But
I think that's one of the important stages, actually. I don't know, like how deep you go in, because I've had many different points of illnesses that I didn't know about. I had a stomach thing where I was like throwing up for 3 entire months, but nobody knew what the heck it was. Just no energy.
It's a great weight loss plan.
It was.
You should market that.
Technically, it's one of the worst weight loss plans because then you blow up afterwards. Like anorexia and bulimia are not really good for the body. Not a great way to lose weight.
It was a tasteless joke. I apologize.
No worries. No, I mean, I was like, hey, tiny pants. I like it. I have a friend that when I am a smaller person, she's like, okay, is this like good weight loss or bad weight loss? Should I be concerned? Are you ill?
I do remember I saw you one time after not seeing you for a year or so, and you were like super skinny. I was like, wow.
One of those versions was because I was sick, and one of those is because I actually did things like eat things that were not cake and burgers.
That sounds boring.
Yeah, I saw a video of me. Facebook posted a video of me 3 years ago. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that body. Thanks, Facebook. I should go for a walk.
Got cake over here, burgers over here.
Yeah, no, I've fully eaten the cake and burgers. I think part of having, God, it's been like a year and a half, 2 years since I've had some sort of like illness situation where I've just taking in pleasure and company and being able to like share food with someone and not have it attack my body or like have some sort of issue going on. Like, I don't know, there are weird magic blips of moments that happen at the lowest point. I don't know if you had that. Like I kept, like when I was dizzy and was having a hard time connecting, because at this point in my life I'd been trained in hypnosis and NLP. I've been trained to like help people with their world and like take over, and it was the moment I got that training was for me the path into like this whole journey of illness and adrenal fatigue. And I'd been, this is TMI-ish, but like I'd been, my menstrual cycle shift and they tried to put me on birth control so I wouldn't have a cycle, but then I bled for an entire year instead.
Oh my goodness.
And so I was like, this was before I was dizzy, before I got dizzy. I was already ill and sick and trying to figure that out. But like, I was like, okay, I've got all these tools. I'm gonna rock it. I'm gonna save the world because I'm Adrianne. Crown, right? Whatever I was thinking. And instead I was just floored and had no energy to give. And essentially, actually, part of the reason why there are cameras here and we're doing this thing and talking to people is because there was a friend of mine who was given 6 months to live at the time, and I was pooped and exhausted, and this whole journey of like the kinds of conversations that I had with people in these like low times, but there was still connection and still magic to be had, and there was still weirdly something that in those connections and conversations I had still something to offer, even though I felt the least like me and the least in my own power ever in my life. I was just like, I want to be able to capture some of those moments for other people.
Agreed, because I mean, it's in, the fact is like, it's in suffering, I think, that we all find common ground, you know? And maybe like even our health experiences haven't been the same, obviously. They've both been kind of devastating, but like everyone is going to suffer in life. Their pain is going to come, period, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual. And it's like when you're able to harness that for good, like people don't go to the hospital because they're well, you know? And when you are trying to change people's lives, but you're coming at it from a place of, I'm better than you, my life is great. You know, and not that you ever did that, but
no,
I mean,
people do. I'm amazing, and you can follow my path, and then you can get it too.
Exactly.
That was one of the models to follow.
But when you come at it from a vulnerable standpoint and say, hey, this is what I'm going through, but these are the tools that I'm able to use in my own life, and I want to share them with you too. You know, it's amazing to meet people in their suffering, I guess. You know?
I don't know if I told you this. I probably told you this. Like texted you, and because we were going through different things at similar times. Part of the reason why, some of the reasons why I could wake up in the morning and keep doing stuff, and with whatever energy I could bring to it, and remember to eat and walk and drink the water, was like, I would see a Facebook post of you hopping around on your scooter, and I'm like, okay, like, we're gonna keep doing this. This is like life. We're gonna do it, even if it's not like life. Fuck yeah! Or just be like, okay, life. You know, it was. Yeah. I don't know. I was grateful that you were at least sharing parts of your journey while you were out there, because it did help. Like literally helped me specifically. That I knew that there was a person that I cared about that was also magical and creative and finding a way to show up each day.
Well, I think the same goes for you. I mean, I don't think I've ever met someone who, I think your whole life is wrapped around empowering other people in a really amazing way. And I don't know, that's what you're all about. And you don't do it for your own benefit or glory necessarily. And that's just a really rare thing to find in another human. So
thank you.
I'm also fidgeting because my thoracic and lumbar acting up.
I was gonna joke. I mean, I'm taking that in, but I was gonna joke. You know, yeah. I mean, it does feel. I do it because I'm not very good at masturbating, so empowering others is something I'm great at, and I get a lot of joy out of that. Mean,
don't you think that?
I probably could practice more. I'll do that.
I mean, or empower people too. You can do both. You don't have to choose. Like, probably not simultaneously. That would be. I mean, there's.
Some people do.
Wouldn't that be a novel? I mean.
I don't think it's going to be on TED.
It won't. Yeah, you should do a TED Talk about it, but
you can't masturbate on TED and empower people at the same time.
But if there's a way to masturbate and empower people, I mean, there's got to be a way.
Yeah. I don't know if that's me, but I've met several of those people that I think could, and perhaps you are now inspired.
This is your time.
Although we've got to preface this by, like. So you're wearing the Christmas sweater. We're now sort of like in the heightened stages of the like Me Too moment. And so you have to have permission. Somebody's already like they paid you that your masturbation is going to empower them.
That's true.
Because it can
Don't
easily
assume
backfire.
Right. Don't assume that your masturbation will empower everybody.
Yeah, and even if you ask out loud, you probably have to wait for a yes, please, and almost have them begging for you to do that. You have
Please
to,
is essential.
the response, because you can't just be like, can I, and then just start.
Right. I feel like the please is crucial because that implies a certain level of eager desire to be empowered.
Right. Through
said masturbatory arts, you know?
Yes. Just to be clear, we're not condoning necessarily just...
This is actually a metaphor for, you know...
Right. No, I was just like demonstrating. I did pause and I took in the compliment, but the first thing as you were saying it, was like, you know, you're like great at empowering other people, and I don't think you do it for yourself. And I was like, in my head, the first thing that jumped in was like, oh, I think it's because I'm like, I was like, wait for the funny, take it in, new strategies, but I can't suddenly become a new person. But
nor should you.
Yeah, fair enough. So Lyme disease, okay, I don't know a lot. There's a friend of mine that sometimes we text, who's also currently doing like IV infusions or antibiotics, tons of therapies for that. Like, how long were you in the path of like remedying that? Do you like no longer have it? I don't get what the story is with that.
So there are differing. So Lyme is a bacterial disease, plain and simple. It's not some mystery disease, but it's a very hard bacterium to eradicate. Mm-hmm. And so, in my opinion, from someone who's been through Lyme, I'm all for natural remedies when they are applicable. But in this case, to get rid of the disease, you have to kill the bacteria, plain and simple. So people would write me like, oh, I tried this bee venom therapy, or I did this, you know, stevia therapy. I actually ended up taking stevia every single day just because I'm like, it can't hurt. And I took a bunch of other like natural supplements too, but I also took 2 powerful antibiotics twice a day for 9 months. Yeah. And basically would get retested every 3 months, and finally the test showed up negative, and I felt a lot better, and so I stopped. So, I mean, there is this thing called chronic Lyme. I believe it's just that Lyme attacks your organs, it attacks your muscles, your nervous system, your heart. It can kill you. Mm-hmm. And so I think chronic Lyme is simply where it's done kind of irreversible damage to your body. Right. I mean, maybe there are people that just can't eradicate it for whatever reason, but I do know that like a lot of people have to go the route of like intravenous antibiotics, and it gets pretty intense. Yeah. But,
and so you're pretty clear health-wise.
I feel great. I mean, knock on wood.
Knock on head. I always knock on head because I don't always have wood around.
Yeah. Gorgeous slab or something. Is this wood?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yamaha piano. So this adventure, I'm going to check on time because we've got you for a little bit, and I'd love to hear another song. This adventure, do you have a hope for it, or are you just like open? What's your I mean, he's helping other people. That's huge.
Helping other people. My goal is really this. Like, I've been the consummate planner in my life. You know, I had this like 10-year plan of music. I had a 15-year plan to buy a bunch of real estate. And today is literally my last day at work. I've been at my bartending job for 13 years. You know, they were super flexible with me when I went on tour and enabled me to leave for 2 months and come back and still have a job. But this plan has finally come into fruition financially for me to give me the freedom to live off of rental income from my 4 properties and be able to travel. But I don't want it to just turn into a big vacation for me. So my goal is to serve, to volunteer, to network as much as possible, and just to see what life and God have for me. I really, like I said, I have like the next 2 months planned out. I have a few like writing opportunities, a few TV opportunities, and those might pan out, they may not. I may try and get a job at Travel Oregon just to write about cool shit here. Yeah. I don't know. I am intentionally not planning this year of my life to see where it takes me, I guess. Nice. So, for better or worse, that's the plan.
I love it.
Plan.
Well, I'm gonna still be in your front row, checking out where your adventure leads. It's a.
Or singing a duet with me tomorrow night at the Ash Tree.
Oh, what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow's a Friday. What are we singing?
Automatic Heart? I don't know.
Fuck yeah, I'll show up.
You want to do it?
I'll do that.
All right.
Yeah. Wait, did I have another thing? Hold on, I'll double check. Boom. Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be singing.
Done.
Yay.
All right.
I gotta find a shirt for that.
You want to wear this one?
Maybe.
Still can't figure out how to turn it off.
I don't know if you can see that he's wearing a flash. Can they see the flashing on there? It's sparkly and pretty. Do you have a? I sort of requested this song. I did.
Done.
I thought
Anything for you.
John's going traveling to Africa. He's going back to homeland, right? So.
You want to play some Toto? Is that what it is? The song is called, ironically, Going Home. I see the sunset as I'm going home, and it serves to remind me, of how far I've gone, and oh how I miss you. I know you miss me more. I wanna be with you. It's what you're dying for. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. From sunset to sunset, I'll keep walking on, and I long for the day when the darkness is gone, and oh how I miss you. I know you miss me more. I wanna be with you. It's what you're dying for. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go. I see the sunset as I'm going home. I really need some water. And I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home. I wanna go home, I wanna go home, oh, I wanna go home, I wanna go home, I wanna go home, I wanna go home.
You can't get
Yeah.
those choking, coughing sounds on the album.
Okay, so
You only get those in like real life.
yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
History was made here today. The worst I've ever played that song. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean we could edit that out if you'd like us to.
I don't care.
It's super authentic. It's having a conversation about like illness and challenges and injuries, and then it's part of the song.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank
I'm
you
really
for being
excited.
here.
Oh, well,
It would have been weird if you weren't.
It's true. I've considered doing the like talking to myself version of the thing, but we haven't filmed something like that yet.
Like multiple like rolls or whatever. You say something over here and
Yeah.
like, hop it over.
Yeah.
Or just pan the camera.
Well, because as a kid from the 80s, they used to do that gag all the time. Back when it was split screen and you play the same character. Someday. It's more fun to hang out with a
I
real
think
other
so.
person.
Yeah. I mean, especially if that person is you.
Oh. Thank you. We did a thing.
Well, that's how that went. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Thanks for watching, listening, I don't know, reading, imbibing, however you took this in. Thanks for being here. And if you really enjoyed it, I'd love it if you would do all of the things. Like, share, I don't know, ring a bell, bang a gong, tell a friend, and come back next time. I hope you had as much fun as I had.